Hey guys, my name's Phil. It's once again Tuesday. Funny enough, it just keeps on happening. Congratulations to all of us. We've survived yet another week. This week I'm going to be talking about the very basics of drum heads, right? Like, if you don't know anything about drum heads, this is a good place to start. But before that, for my weight, a bit of time has passed and you might not know what's going on. With the weight thing, I realized that I was pushing 92, something like that, kilos. So I've decided to do something about it. I'm getting a bit healthier, walking around a lot, walking at least 2K every day, trying to get the weight down to where we're at in a year. My goal is 75 kilos. We'll see how we go with that. In the meantime, you'll notice in front of me, I've got a 10-inch tom. Every manufacturer of drum heads do essentially two versions of two heads, right? And then expand from there. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using all Evans heads. The two basic heads are a single ply head, the G1, and a dual ply head, two ply head, the G2, right? G1, G2. From there, they make two versions of the G1, the clear and the coated. Now, the difference between the two is literally just the coating that's on it. It's got a bit of texture to it. It changes the tone a little bit. It warms it up, kind of gets rid of a little bit of the ring, a little bit of overtone. This tom on the resonant side has a Evans resonant. It's just a good solid resonant side head. That's what a G1 clear sounds like. Now, I use a drill to get them off. I use a drill only to take them off. I don't use a drill to put them on. You saw me use my handy dandy Donette E key for that. But this works fine for getting them off, right? And I always double check it's going the right way around. It's a bit more focused than the G1 clear. It's not as open and ringy. Obviously the pitch isn't exactly the same, but yeah, it's enough to get the point across. This is the G2 clear. It is a lot easier to tune a double ply head actually than a single ply head, funny enough. I don't know why that would be, but it's got a bit more of a beefier tone to it, even tuned up a bit higher than where I had the G1. That's actually pretty low. Of these four heads, these are definitely the easiest to kind of get a hold of, so to speak, tuning wise. And they probably take the most abuse of these four heads. That's up into bebop land. But whether you go with a G1 or a G2, whether it's clear or coated, some of the things that people tend to think about when you're trying to decide between a single ply and a double ply head, you want to take a couple things into consideration. Generally, you can, if you're a harder hitting player,
you play really loud stuff, you rock and roll your various subgenres of the heavier metallic-like stuff.
You probably want to lean towards a G2 because it's a more durable head, which means when you're pounding the crap out of it to get the volume that you need, it'll not blow out as fast as a G1. So that's, you know, one thing. The volume that you play. There are so many options. Like these guys, Evans, they do various different thicknesses of single ply heads as well. So if you're a heavier player, go with a heavier head. It'll take more of the beating. And if you're a lighter player, you play
A lot of jazz and pop stuff and like kind of, I don't know, wedding stuff, quieter stuff.
go with the G1. Now when you're trying to decide between clear and coated, you want to go with the kind of sound that you want, the overall resonance that you want out of your drum. If you want a very lively open sound, you want to go with a clear head. And if you want a very controlled and tight sound, you'd go with a coated head. Now, another thing that coated heads are great for is if you do any brush work. You know, they've actually got the texture. Whereas the clear head doesn't work. So that's the basics, the basic idea, I suppose you could say. Myself, when I was just figuring out what heads to go with, I started out with these 4 basic heads. And I would put the G1s on my toms with a coated on the top and a clear on the bottom. A clear single ply head is your classic underside head. I would experiment. I would want my toms to be a little bit boomier or a little bit ringier, you know, so then I would change the heads up a little bit and I would experiment with the catalog that the company made. Yeah, so you just experiment. And this video is just a guideline. It's a place to start you off, push you in the right direction. These 4 heads are a fantastic place to start. If you find you need something heavier, you can go up, or lower, lighter, you can go down. This is a good place to start. So I hope this helps. Like always, if you like what I'm doing, share and like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell everybody you know.
Tell your letter carrier, your auto mechanic, your dentist, your periodontist, I think I've mentioned before. Tell everybody you know.
And I'll see you guys next Tuesday.